Okay, gonna do a reading right now looking at the power grid for the summer. So let's just see if there's gonna be big disruptions to the power grid. I can see how a big heat wave, which we're going through now, but a big heat wave could definitely fuck some things up. So let's take a peek. We're gonna look first at America. I also want to look at Europe, but we're gonna start by looking at America. Random number, random word, power. Number 6. Okay. So, oh geez. So looking at the power grid for the summer, our main card is the Judgment card. Okay. It's up there. And where it goes. So, the Knight of Wands. So, all right. Judgment card on the bottom. So this is basically like the big moment, where we really get to find out um, if our power grid is any good. This means that it will be tested, right? So the first card that shows up is the Knight of Wands. Now this is a card of travel, right? So just in a larger energy sense, this could talk about the price of fuel, um, as it will be very difficult for people to drive anywhere. But uh, this is impulsive energy and not permanent energy, like a heat wave, we'll say. But this is energy that happens really fast. Now, that moves forward to a 3 of Pentacles, and I mean, the way that I'm seeing this, it's a bunch of people working together, maybe a bunch of companies, maybe it's like government working with private companies, whatever. Um, so there is a collaboration that happens here, moving forward toward the Ace of Wands. Now, there's a couple different ways to read this. I mean, are we all going to have to build fires, But I think the Ace of Wands, this is basically showing a big test. And the energy happens quickly. It's going to force a bunch of collaboration. I mean, most likely between the government and private companies, as if that doesn't happen already. But here, moving toward the Ace of Wands, that would kind of be like the birth of something new. So, if it's a new method of distributing power, that would probably be good, or if the power grid gets like insulated or something. Now, the good thing about this is it's not showing like a doomsday scenario, although this does show a definite test. But I think this is a test that gets passed because of the collaboration. Maybe it's just people working together, and trying to conserve electricity. That's not really what I feel when I look at that card, though. But here, moving toward the Ace of Wands, and um, this is a new, maybe a new source of energy, right, that we have here, but it is the birth of something new. Um, I'm just going to pull one more card to just find out straight up if the blackouts are going to be a big deal. The Queen of Pentacles, I'm not going to read as the blackouts being a big problem, right? The Queen of Pentacles is a loving, nurturing mother, who doesn't always know the right language to use, but this is basically probably a distribution of resources, perhaps a distribution of resources in a shitty way, but if it's the government doing it, you would have to figure that it'd be the way it went. Um, at any rate, I don't think this is showing massive rolling blackouts, but the test the test is probably going to happen. And it looks like the American power grid will probably pass the test and something new will be born out of it. Now let's take a look at Europe. And things there are a bit more complicated considering the one war, and there's always several conflicts that could break out in Europe. So let's just take a peek at this power grid Europe this summer. And the root card is the Five of Cups. This is showing the communication breakdown, which could literally mean like a breakdown in the communication systems. But this is showing some sort of a relationship or a connection that just the communication isn't open, right? Well, for Europe, this looks a little bit worse, especially here as it ends in a Ten of Swords. So the main energy is the Six of Pentacles, and the Six of Pentacles is giving resources or energy to something that will never change, right? And that is generally the way that I see most government action. But in this case, the power grids, and I don't really know how they work in Europe, but if they're privatized, this doesn't happen as much. But at any rate, it does show basically mishandling of resources and kind of throwing them away towards something that can never change. Now, what leads up to that is a Two of Cups, and the Two of Cups, it's interesting because the Two of Cups, it's these two energies. In the moment, they're completely open to each other, and it seems pretty great. It is pretty great in a Two of Cups. Now, if you take this couple and you put them together for a really long time, then they end up being like the couple in the Five of Cups, when they're like, shut the fuck up, I don't want to hear you anymore, This is a first date. This is like the married couple that doesn't want to hear what the other one's saying. So this tract starts out pretty good this way, and then there's a mishandling of resources and it ends up in a Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords basically being something that you kind of knew was wrong, but didn't really want to deal with it, and it eventually comes back and bites you in the ass. So let's pull one more card here just to find out. Massive rolling blackouts. Is that a thing? We get the High Priestess, and I mean, the High Priestess is a very secretive card. So the true answer to that is kind of veiled. It's like behind this door that we can't see through, right? And it might be that if there are massive rolling blackouts, that it also might not be reported. I mean, just because the High Priestess is showing the secrecy. But if looking at this, if you live in Europe, it might not be a bad idea to have a backup plan or a generator or something like that. And I do worry about that all of the time, Now, let's take a look. I just want to see if the energy prices, and this tends to be kind of a global thing. So let's just see if the energy prices themselves are going to cause a different crisis. That doesn't necessarily mean there's going to be rolling blackouts, but no one can afford gas or fucking electricity or anything like that. Um, let's see the effect on people of the prices of energy this summer. And then we run into the Five of Cups again. Um, not very good. So, this is probably all the people saying, come on, you bastards, like, quit price gouging us. And then, you know, all of the energy companies just saying, I'm not going to listen to you. Not a very good sign. And definitely an emotional drain that shows up in the Five of Cups. So that's what we get here. If you have any comments on this, feel free to let me know. If you have any questions that you would like me to look at, feel free to leave a comment on that as well. And peace.